Hello. A council meeting degenerated into chaos today when it was invaded by protesters. The meeting was called to agree this year's budget for Norfolk County Council, but was delayed while police were called in.
The demonstrators belong to an environmental campaign group. They linked arms and stood in line for several hours. 4 people were arrested. Well, let's get the full story now from our political correspondent, Andrew Sinclair.
Stuart, budget meetings here in Norfolk are always pretty lively affairs, but that's normally because of the politics here. And in a year when many children's centres are closing, this was going to be a fiery meeting. But this meeting will be remembered for a very different reason. It was 5 to 10 and councillors were preparing for this morning's meeting when this happened.
Power to the people. Power to the people. People have power.
25 protesters had entered the chamber. Councillors looked on in bemusement. Eventually the chair called for order, but she couldn't make herself heard. And they kept on singing.
It's a peaceful protest about climate change and about councils, local councils doing something about that. And it's people standing up for their children and their children's children.
Nobody listens to the people. We need to do this to make people listen to the people. Thank you.
The meeting was adjourned. Councillors left the chamber.
I think it's an affront to democracy, really. We're elected to do a job, and here we are, where this is preventing the meeting from happening. If we have no budget, we'll end up like America, where nothing can happen.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and they've made it very strongly. I think I'd leave it there.
But with the protest being streamed on the internet by a supporter, the group had no intention of stopping. Well, this protest has been going on for more than an hour now, and there's no sign of the protesters intending to give up. I understand the police are just outside the building, and the councillors are very determined that this meeting has to go ahead today, because if it doesn't, no other council in Norfolk can set its council tax. The group calls itself Extinction Rebellion, opposed to climate change and a planned extension to the ring road around Norwich.
We're getting extreme weather events. We're going to hit food shortages soon and things like that.
But does action like this really work? Wouldn't it be better to keep quietly lobbying and talking to people and trying to win them over?
I've done that for 20 years.
And then nothing will change. This is not the way to be going down.
A councillor tried to persuade them to go, but they wouldn't move. So the police came in, and we were all told to leave. Some of the protesters decided enough was enough, but some didn't, and 4 were arrested.
The protesters made their point within the first 5 minutes. The protesters have made their point at other council meetings up and down the country, and will continue to do so. There are ways and means to make your points.
After 4¼ hours, the meeting got underway. Outside, the protesters celebrated their morning's work.
So, Andrew, what is known about the group behind today's protest?
Well, Extinction Rebellion is quite a new group. It believes that the country's facing an environmental catastrophe, and it believes direct action is the only way to get politicians to change their ways, and it's carried out a number of protests across the country. Here in Norfolk, it's particularly focusing on a planned extension to the new ring road around Norwich. Now, this is a story we've covered on many occasions before. It would go across the Wensum Valley, a site of scientific interest, a conservation area. The plans still very much in their early stages, but I think today shows that there is a lot of anger about those plans, and I think we can expect more demonstrations in the future.
It seemed remarkably easy to hold this protest.
Yes, I don't think we've ever seen such a sustained protest in any council chamber anywhere in Norfolk before, and tonight the County Council is reviewing its security, and I understand other councils are doing the same because they've all got budget meetings coming up in the not too distant future. Among councillors here tonight, there's a little bit of anger that it took the police so long to intervene. They got here at 11, they didn't start arresting people till 1. They're also quite cross that no one's talking about the budget tonight, which incidentally got passed.
Andrew, thank you very much.